Last time I spoke with this gym owner, he had raised his rates and a few members were angry. A local newspaper even did a story about it. Fast forward to today, and Magnus Bjorsvik made our top 10 leaderboard for net owner benefit. That's salary, dividends, profit, and anything else the gym pays the owner. That leaderboard runs from $16,900 to $37,500 US, and these are rolling 3-month averages, not one-hit wonder, flash in the pans. These are sustainable numbers. So maybe, listeners, should you do that rate increase that you're thinking about so you could be on this leaderboard in 3 years? Think about it. A mentor can help you do it. This is Run a Profitable Gym. I'm your host, Mike Warkentin. Please hit subscribe before we go any further. Now, Magnus Bjorsvik owns CrossFit Uvaer in Norway, and he's been on the show before. Welcome back after 3 years, Magnus. How are you?
Thanks for having me again, Mike. It's good to be back.
You said before the show that you have a special award from the Two Brain Summit beside you. What is it?
Yeah, so it's the Client's Choice Award that we won on at the summit this year, which I'm very proud of. I mean, it means that we have a lot of members and clients that love what we do, and of course that's important for us to making the leaderboard that we have.
And this is after clients got angry with you about your rate increase 3 years ago. The rest of your clients stayed and said you're one of the best gyms in the world.
Yeah, that's right. I mean. In terms of that, it was kind of a pivotal moment because we were pricing ourselves way too low. And I think the people that left, we probably weren't the best fit for them, and they weren't the best fit for us. So that's one of the things that happened with the rate increase is that we got to double down on our core clients and deliver the product that was best for them and not for everyone.
I love it. I'm going to ask you to dig into this whole thing because I want to know about the last 3 years, but I'm going to read you a quote from 2021. We talked in your rate increase, and this is what you said about the early days of your gym. We were working 10 to 12-hour days, and we had 250 members, but we weren't making a proper paycheck. Today, you're in the top 10 for net owner benefit. I got to know. So what happened over the last 3 years? Big question, but take me through it. How did you get here?
Yeah, it's a big question. Obviously, that was from the very beginning, working 10, 12 hours and not making a lot of money. I think in the beginning, we were focused on, a lot on the training itself, but not as much on running the business and how that would work long term. So we were pricing ourselves according to our competitors and what, big box gyms and 24/7 access gyms were charging.
And I think the old rates, I'll just jump in here. I think your old rates, you said something about 799 kroner, which is like about $100 US. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Okay. So, considering the fact that we had bills to pay and that wasn't nearly enough because the service we were providing, we couldn't provide that service to a lot more than 200 to 250 members. And with 799 times that many members, that wasn't enough money to pay the bills and also make a good living. So
the numbers don't work.
Yeah, no, the numbers don't work. And the biggest mistake we did when we opened 7 years ago is that we didn't look at what is it going to cost us to deliver this service? But we only looked at what are other people charging for not even services that are similar to ours, but just, gyms.
I made the exact same mistake and it cost me too.
Yeah. So we had to do the math the other way, looking at what we have to make each month to pay the bills and to pay ourselves, of course. And the numbers came out completely different from what we were charging to begin with. So we had to do quite a large increase. And, as you know, from 2021, there was a lot of people that got upset with us.
Yeah.
So that was, it was a challenging time, increasing the prices.
Now, I think I'll jump in again. I think you increased them to about 1,100 kroner, which is about 133 US dollars. Is that, I think that's the right number. And has that increased since then?
Yes, we have increased it 2 times since that. And what we're trying to do now is have at least one increase every year because, our bills are increasing every year.
Everybody,
utilities and rent and electricity, everything.
So where are you at approximately now?
We're at about approximately 1,300 now.
Okay.
I'm not sure what that is in US dollars, but probably like 130.
Yeah, I'd have to check the exchange rates. I know that back in 2021, 1100 was 133, so it might be close to 150. But the point is that you've
Okay,
done this.
yeah,
Yeah, you got tacked on 200 kroner or something like that. And
could
you've
be.
done this over the last few years, and you're doing some annual increases just to cover inflation and expenses. So that's, I mean,
Yeah,
listeners, right away, without even having to point it out for you, these rate increases are definitely contributing to net owner benefit, because when Magnus and I opened our gyms, we did not do this stuff, and we just set a price and then realized that it was not allowing us to feed our families. So sorry to interrupt you there. Keep going on your story. This is great.
yeah, no worries, Mike. The big thing in 2021 is that we increased quite a lot. It was probably around 30% increase.
But I think you did that because
So
of the pandemic. Didn't the pandemic put you off track or something like that, or am I wrong?
yes,
Yeah,
it did. We
you
were
had some
planning
hiccups
on
there.
increasing before, or
Yeah,
actually
that's what it
during the
was.
pandemic, but then the pandemic hit. So we ended up not increasing for year and a half.
Yep.
And then of course the initial plan was to increase by about 15%
That's
over a
recommended.
couple
Yeah.
times. But then we basically had to do a larger increase when we did it.
Because of circumstances. And listeners, we
Yeah,
always recommend no more than 15% for a rate increase at a time. But if a pandemic shuts your gym down and changes all your plans, you might have to do something different with the help of a mentor.
yeah. And I mean, in a lot of ways, I mean, at the time, it was very, very challenging because we had a lot of pushback. Some clients even went as far as trying to recruit other people to quit the gym, which was horrible.
The worst.
So that was but at the same time, it helped us grow as owners and business operators. It helped us do other difficult decisions in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said before, it also sort of we got rid of the people that weren't the right fit and that we weren't the right fit for. So after that, we've had, I mean, the community has become so much better. The social aspect of everyday life in the gym is also a lot better than it was. So yeah, all in all, even though it was very challenging and a hard thing to do, it's been very good for us.
So would you consider that 2021 rate increase kind of a pivotal moment for you as a gym owner, going from not making enough to trying to figure out how to make what you want to live or what you want to earn to live?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's both in, I mean, the one thing is the money itself, which, I mean, it's good to be able to pay yourself a decent salary, but it's also the confidence that we gained in the service that we provide. And it's also incentivized us to provide a better service for our members.
It's a bit of a forcing function, right? I'm charging this, I need to deliver.
Exactly. And when we're charging this this amount as well, we know that people expect more from us. So we have to deliver on that. So that means that every time we also do an increase, even though we might increase because of inflation and things like that, we still have to justify this to our members. We can't just say, no, it's inflation, so we're increasing the price. We have to tell them all the things that we have invested in the gym, the things that we have improved, the things that we're going to improve. So, to show them the value and show them why we are increasing our prices.
And I really like the annual increases. I like that idea only in the sense that if you don't do it, at some point you're going to realize you have to do it, and then it's got to be a bigger increase. Whereas if you just say, you know what, everything gets a little bit more expensive every year, we're just going to put a 1.5 or 2% increase in, people can stomach that. And if you justify the value and communicate that value, as you're saying, it's not a big deal, because I get notifications all the time, service prices are increasing. And if it's something that's delivering value, I'm like, yeah, that's fine. If it's something that's not, then we have a discussion. But I like that, because every once in a while, inflation gets out of control, like it did in North America, probably over in Norway too, 6-7% kind of thing. Things are weird. Then you need to make these larger increases. Then you start looking at like 10 and 15, because you got to backfill some stuff you should have done before. Annual increases are not a bad idea. So I really like that one. Talk to me a little bit, as much as you're comfortable sharing. How do you pay yourself from the gym? Is it just a straight salary, or is there other stuff that you do as well, or how do you do it?
Yeah, I mean, it's salary, but there's other things as well. So, I mean, there's phone and other things, which so it's not necessary. So the money that we've put on as net owner benefit is not necessarily just cash in the bank, but it's other stuff as well. Yeah.
And that's common. So listeners, if you're out there, talk to your accountant to find the best way to pay the least tax that you can. Give the government what they are owed, but not a penny more. And there are ways to do that. So that's writing off certain things, that's charging maybe a phone or a vehicle to their business, things like that. Other gym owners in other places will do things like dividends and a combination of dividends and salary. Profit is definitely included in there. That's stuff that you might leave in the business, but is still available for other things. There's all sorts of ways that you can do this to maximize your net owner benefit. But the overall picture is that this is what the gym gives to you, the owner, after all the other bills, staff, and fixed expenses are paid. So again, talk to your accountant, find the best way to do this, but you should make sure, I'll give you a target number, about 33%. Some gym owners do much more than that in terms of net owner benefit, but that's a great idea for profit and net owner benefit combos. How has your lifestyle changed over the last year since 2021? What has this increase in ARM and net owner benefit allowed you to do as a person?
I mean, the biggest change has probably been the peace of mind that comes with financial stability.
Yep.
I mean,
so you can sleep better?
Yeah, I sleep a lot better. Yeah, I mean, that's no kidding. The sleep itself, I mean, that's actually a thing. I sleep so much better at night. I'm not stressed thinking about, the bills that we're going to pay next week, or if we have enough for the paycheck that's coming up the following month.
Wow.
Just, all these small things that end up being a big thing. And then if you don't sleep at night, you become even more stressed. So that's definitely a big thing, just the peace of mind. And then also it's allowed us to do other investments. So one of the things now is that which also, I mean, it was a big investment, and it also helped us improve the net owner benefit that we were able to buy the building of the gym.
There's a good one. Yep.
Yeah. So now basically we're paying rent to ourselves, which is huge.
And that's a very common way that gym owners do it now. So listeners, if you're out there, a common thing that gym owners will do to increase their net owner benefit is buy a building and then pay rent to themselves. That's not the only way to do it, but that's a very clever way to do it, because if you ever want to close your gym down, you could just rent that space or sell the building or whatever you like. And buildings tend to increase in value. Keep going, Magnus. That's awesome.
Yeah, definitely, Mike. And beside that, it's also helped us make other investments outside of the gym. So last year, we just bought a new house, which has been great. I mean, we have a lot more space, which is also something that gives me a lot more peace, because we have a bigger house. There's less clutter. There's easier to keep it clean, which helps my head also feel, helps me feel sane, which is great. And with the financials that we have, we were also able to keep the townhouse that we moved out of.
So you can rent that?
So we're renting that out.
There you go.
Which, gives us that extra income as well. Not just short term every month, but long term with in terms of the increased value of the properties as well. So that means the increased net owner benefit from the gym has also helped me create other income streams that comes on top of that, which is, that also feels good. I mean, that also increases the workload sometimes with like other types of work outside the gym. But I mean, it's nothing that I mind,
And you've got a vacation coming up too, right?
Yeah.
How long are you going for?
2 weeks.
There you go.
We booked 2 weeks in Zanzibar in February. So really looking forward to that. It's going to be great.
So you've got other income streams set up, and this is a cool thing that gym owners can do. And in our Tinker group of upper level gym owners, we have mentors who help gym owners decide what they want to do when they've got a stable business and they can sleep at night. do I want to expand that business? Do I want to open a second location? Do I want to look at crypto, real estate, distilleries, sports beverages, any other things, Airbnbs? People are doing all kinds of creative things in there. And what they're doing is they're creating a legacy for their families, stability for their staff, their clients, and themselves. And they're really just finding ways to invest money and make money, because once they're stable, they can do all sorts of great things in the community. So this is not about being a greedy gym owner, millionaire, wealthy person. It's about finding stability so that you can help more people, keep your staff going, keep your gym going, make people healthier, and help the communities around you. As Chris Cooper's always said, gym owners are some of the most generous people you'll ever meet, and they generally make their communities a whole lot better. And I've seen some pretty incredible stuff come out of that Tinker group. So contrast that. You've got your gym, you own your building, you've got investment properties, you're taking holidays. Contrast that to your lowest moment. What was some of the lowest periods? Do you remember any specific days back in, a while where you're just, wow, this is rough for me?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say like the first year and a half, 2 years after opening the gym, I knew how to coach people, how to train.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to run a business.
Mm-hmm.
I was working, long hours from early in the morning to late at night. I remember leaving home before my son got up in the morning, and then coming home after he had gone to bed, like not seeing him at all the whole day, which was, that was not cool.
And then still not making enough money.
Yeah, and then still not making enough money because we were undercharging, and obviously that rate increase in 2021 was also a tough time, but that was a short time, a couple of weeks after making that hard decision, but then that ended up being a good thing long term. So sometimes, the hard decisions then and there end up being a good thing in the long run. And I think also, experiencing that stuff in the beginning with working those long days and not seeing my family, it also incentivized me to do a better job. I mean, and a better job is not necessarily just working more, but it's working better and more efficient. And I think, like you said, a lot of people are they're maybe scared of increasing their prices and thinking that they don't deserve it or their services are not good enough. But I mean, in the end, if you increase your prices, you can deliver a better service for your clients. So it's not only you that benefit from making more money, but your clients and your family, of course. So I mean, it's actually win-win for everyone. It's not like your clients lose if you make more money. You can actually keep working as a gym owner. You don't have to shut down because you're not making money. So that's a big one.
Yeah, and you're going to be more inclined to improve your business, right? So if you have some free time to think, you've got some extra income, you might consider, hey, I'm going to renovate that bathroom to make it better for the clients, or at least unplug the toilet. Because I remember I spent times unplugging. I spent my own time unplugging toilets because I was too cheap to call a plumber because I was worried about money. Right. And that's just a boots on the ground example. But when you're in the other end of it, you can start saying, what would make my service better? You know what? I'm going to renovate this area over here, and I'm going to take out the coach's lounge, and I'm going to put in a nutrition consultation area. I'm going to add a nutrition service to help my clients become healthier faster. So this freedom and lack of stress, a little bit extra income helps you improve your service, becomes more valuable. It's kind of the snowball that goes downhill. How essential was a mentor in helping you move through this all the way through? You talked about like the highs and the lows. Where did a mentor help you make this happen?
I mean, there was a big shift after we started with our mentor in Two Brain, because we had come to a point where we started making a bit of money, but we didn't really see how to get any further. So I was making a paycheck, still wasn't a lot. So I felt like things were going okay, but there was still something missing, There's no really, we'd hit the ceiling on how we were operating. So getting a mentor helped me do those changes a lot faster than I would have been able to do on my own. I mean, a lot of the things you can probably do on your own if you figure it out, but it's going to take you so much time. If you want to learn all the stuff that I learned just, in the first month of having a mentor, you'd spend 3 years, 3 years doing the same thing
Mm-hmm.
because you still have a business to run.
Yep.
So, I mean, yeah, you sort of get you get a head start because you have a mentor that's been through the same things before, and you also have all the resources, especially in TrueBrain though. There's a lot of resources that you can use in addition to the mentor, which is great.
Mm-hmm. So if you've got, you can, like you said, the knowledge is out there. There's no shortage of knowledge. You can find anything on the internet now. You could go through this process and you can just look it up and say to AI, tell me how to, do some stuff. But the idea there is like, it's good. You're going to make mistakes. I did this. I tried to figure it out on my own. I made a ton of mistakes. I had to, back up the truck, try a different path, hit something, move back, and just, forward and back until I finally figured it out. Or you could just ask someone, hey, how do you do this? And Magnus mentioned we have a mentor who actually has experience in these things. We also have the TrueBrain Toolkit, which has all kinds of things where a mentor will say, I want you to go to this place right now, click this, and you're going to get these resources and do this on this timeline. We're going to do it by Friday. I'm going to check in on you Friday morning to ask if you've done it. And
yeah, that's a big thing as well, Mike. Right? The accountability.
Yeah. So tell me about that.
It's like with people coming to the gym, right? All the resources for the perfect workout or the perfect nutrition plan, it's all on the internet. Mm-hmm. If you want to change your lifestyle, it's all out there. You can go and get it. But when you come to the gym, or if you get a business mentor, there's someone that holds you accountable. And there's someone that has been through the same thing before themselves. And they've also helped a lot of other people through it, which is going to make it so much easier. That's the big thing. I guess it sort of goes hand in hand with what we deliver to our clients, because we make sure that they deliver on the stuff that they're supposed to do. We hold them accountable, and I think we all need to be held accountable. So much easier to
something that your mentor held you accountable for. Do you have anything out there?
Yeah, I mean, especially this rate increase was something that was deep inside, from the beginning. It was very difficult. Yeah. Which I imagine it is for a lot of people. A lot of gym owners probably know that they should increase their prices because they're not making enough money, but it's so difficult to do it because you're afraid of, negative feedback and backlash from members that
newspaper
don't
stories.
Want to pay that much. Yeah, newspaper stories. And so that's a big one for me. But then also just, getting through writing our playbook, all the SOPs for our group classes, our personal training, sales process, all those things. If we hadn't had a mentor, I would have spent so much more time building that whole thing.
Yeah.
Because I can be quite bad at procrastinating. So it's always good to have a deadline.
Yeah. And there's so many things that you could be doing with your time where you should be writing your SOPs, but a member wants to buy a t-shirt. So you start doing that. And then you end up coaching a session, and then something breaks, you fix it. And then all of a sudden you forget about what you're doing. But if a mentor says, hey, did you do this? You're like, no. Okay, here's what we're doing. Tomorrow, you're not going in the gym. First thing, you're sitting off at a coffee store from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. You're going to write down these SOPs. Here is the TrueBrain template that's already started for you. You're going to fill in the blanks. We're going to make some small adjustments. All of a sudden, you can get those jobs done way faster because someone has a plan. And listeners, I'm going to give you this. The Golden Hour Challenge, Chris Cooper's 9th book, is out. He's going to lead you through the Golden Hour Challenge starting November 1st. You need to be in the Gym Owners United group where you can do this. He's going to teach you how to take 1 hour a day and measurably grow your business in just 60 minutes by doing exactly what he says. And it's simple habit stacking tasks, marketing, connecting with clients, communicating with your staff. Nothing crazy, but it will be super effective. And Chris is going to show you what a little bit of outside accountability can help you do. And if you want to go further, you can book a call with a mentor in our show notes. So I love this because if I think about back to 2021 when I spoke to you, we found out that you had this rate increase, right? And your members had gone crazy and they had gone to the newspaper, whatever, and there was this whole firestorm. And we wanted to talk to you about it because this was one of the most fiery rate increases that we'd heard about. It turned out in the aftermath, you ended up getting a ton of no sweat intros as a result, because the publicity you got out of that newspaper story was incredible, and you ended up like actually growing out of it. Then you fast forward 3 years, we're having this conversation with you as a net owner benefit leader. What a cool story. Like, does that feel good as a gym owner?
Yeah, I mean, it feels good. It feels very good. At the time when the journalists started calling, it was a very stressful time.
I can't imagine
when I think about it. So but I mean, it ended up as a win for us. It ended up as a very positive newspaper article. Some of the things it said was that we had wait lists and the gym was full. So stuff like that is something that people notice, because if it's wait lists, then probably means that we're doing a good job and people want to join the gym. And we're actually in the same position today. We have the gym is full. We have a wait list. So at this point, we're not taking in people for the next month, which is pretty cool.
So you've gone from getting up when it's dark, working 12-hour days, coming home when it's dark, not seeing your family, not making enough money, to now you've got a full gym, high value clients, and you got a wait list. That's incredible. You probably don't have a ton of marketing costs because you're waiting, like you're full, right?
Yeah, I mean, we our marketing at this point is just social media, but not paid marketing. So we haven't used paid marketing in a long time. At some points, we have on and off for just short periods of time.
You can when you need to,
a couple of weeks or a month. But I think the last time we had any paid marketing was probably a year and a half ago, probably.
Wow! And so you've got this waiting list. And again, if you're not spending money on ads because you don't have to, then you can increase your net owner benefit. That just goes to you, and that's your profit. This wait list, how long is that? What does it take to get into your gym now? Is it like a couple of months, or is it longer than that?
So what we do is actually the group classes that are what's waitlisted. So what we do is if people want to do PT, we can still onboard PT
that's
clients.
Cool.
So it's not like we say there's nothing here for you. You have to wait for a month, because then what usually happens is people will go somewhere else. But we can have an alternative for them. And then when a spot opens for group classes, we can say, okay, if you still want to do group classes, we now have an opening for you. But I mean,
they might want to keep doing PT.
Yeah. I mean, the goal is always to get people started as fast as possible. So we can't just tell people that, sorry, come back in 2 months, because then the chances are they're going to start somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
So we try and just, we've diversified with the PT, and we have the corporate training that we do as well. So if there's no spots in group classes, we can put them into PT, and then
it's a higher value service. Are you still one of the most expensive gyms in the area?
Yes, I would think so.
Yeah.
I haven't checked lately, but I mean, most of the gyms here are like 24-hour access, or there's a couple of other CrossFit gyms as well, but I think we are a bit more expensive than them.
So you're serving the best steak in town.
Yeah, I mean, we also the best steak. That's right. That's also a thing, when if people are just looking for the cheapest place, only looking at the price, then we'll probably send them somewhere else. But the people that are looking for a quality service and that's their focus, then we're the spots.
That's exactly it. So you know your avatar, you know your market, you've got it locked down, and you have a waiting list. So you've got all these things. I'm going to close this up by asking you a question. So someone out there is like you, 2021, maybe they're thinking about a rate increase. They're struggling. They're working too long, not seeing their family enough, haven't had a holiday in a long time. What would you say to someone who isn't earning enough right now? What's your advice?
Yeah, that's not a short question, Mike, but
anything you got.
Yeah. So, I know that increasing your rates can be intimidating and it's difficult. But the most difficult decisions are always the ones that, in my opinion, pay more off in the long term. So doing that hard decision now is gonna pay you back a lot over time. And if you feel like it's too difficult to make that decision on your own or to do it on your own, then get help. I mean, get a mentor that can show you how to do it the best way possible. If that is, how you communicate it to your clients or how much you increase it by. I mean, if you have to do it over several steps or if you could do it once off, it's always easier if you have someone that holds your hand, so to speak, and holds you a bit accountable, because things like this are it's difficult to do on your own. So get help if you need.
And you are the proof. 3 years later, 3 years ago, I'm talking to you about the stress of a rate increase. 3 years later, I'm talking to you about being one of the top 10 gym owners in the world. Magnus, thank you so much. Congratulations on that and the Client's Choice Award. What a big deal that was. Thanks for sharing your story and being here today.
Thank you, Mike. It's been a pleasure.
This is Run a Profitable Gym. I'm your host, Mike Warkentin. That was Magnus Bjorsvik. I can't wait to have him back on the show in 3 years and see what else he's accomplished in Norway. What an incredible story. Please hit subscribe on your way out the door so you don't miss a single episode like this. And if you want help doing some tough stuff, book a call via the link in the show notes.